And we're live. Welcome to the Zac Yak Pack on the Jaggers Juxtaplooza. I'm your host, Zach. With us, we have our co-host, the other.
Clean shaven for once, Zach. Won't be too much longer and you won't see this anymore.
And bald.
Yeah.
I mean, do you choose the bald thing for a reason? Is it because you're just weird or what?
Cheaper.
Is it?
Yeah, I cut it myself.
Well, yeah. Versus just getting a haircut.
Yes, exactly.
Why not just get the haircut?
Because then I don't have to pay somebody.
Okay, just teach somebody to give haircuts.
It don't matter. One more time, I'm cutting it. That's it.
No, that's what you think.
Nope. That's
That's
what
what
I
they
know.
want you to think.
That's what I know. So, don't be afraid to use the hashtag Don't Be a Nick. Follow us on Facebook at the Jaggers Juxtaplooza. Follow him on Instagram at MPJags. I still don't have one. Official merchandise can be purchased at cafepress.com/the Jaggers Juxtaplooza. I'm probably having pineapples thrown at me already, but it is what it is. Yes, already having pineapples thrown at me.
We have guests joining us.
For a very brief moment.
Very brief. That's what they all say. He says he's going to be on briefly every show, and he ends up here the whole show. No matter how brief the show may be.
Yeah. Tonight it'll be shorter than usual. We've all had things that we were into today, and also.
Oh, of course. Give me 1 second.
Starting later than usual. Oh my!
Apparently, Russ being on is hilarious to the 5-year-old because she's sitting on the other side of the room just laughing now, hysterically.
So how was the dance?
Oh, we're not even to that point yet. First, I must. Hold on. I forgot a prop. I brought props today. How about that?
What, a pineapple? I don't know what he's up to now. We'll see what he's up to.
I brought actual props. So I brought props. So I can rant, I can rave, as I stated in the promo video for this. I could rant, I could rave, or I could succeed where the other Zach has failed.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
What way how can I succeed where you failed?
Good question.
I know, right? There's so many ways. One, I'm just awesome compared to you, which just helps. 2, I'm not bald.
Yeah.
3, I'm not fat.
There's nothing wrong with being fat. Round
4, I'm not lazy.
Hey, I take exception to the last 2.
Well, exception is different than offense.
Round is a shape.
I didn't say you're out. I didn't. Yeah, I said.
And if you can get paid decent money being lazy, why not?
Well, yeah, but nobody pays you decent.
I beg to differ on that one.
I beg to say you're going to get stop loss. Take that. I've succeeded where you failed.
Oh, you got the crowd peach.
The only box of it there.
That looks like a bottle, not a box.
No, it came. The box is in the kitchen. I didn't bring the box in because they of course, have to put this in the peach bag, which is the same color, the light peach, right? And then they place that inside a box. So I've succeeded where you failed.
Oh, it's all good.
I've also visited my friends, as you have failed to do. Look at that. All sorts of successes. I even started drinking before you. And I did a daddy-daughter dance. Mind you, not drunk enough for. Russ, good thing you weren't there. Be glad you didn't go.
Yeah, I saw the pictures and I had work, so I was kind of glad.
So I literally, it was club music. It was not music you should be dancing to with your daughter. Let's go with this. Shaken Off by Taylor Swift might have been the closest thing to fairly appropriate being played.
Where was this at? The school or whatever?
At a school. It was at the school. Now, mind you, it was sponsored by the tennis team, so that might explain part of the problem. The one girl was running around, and I'm telling you, this is like one of the tennis player, obviously, girls sponsoring it thing, running around in I'm guessing it was pants. It could have been a really weird skirt, but I'm guessing pants and a midriff showing shirt. You would have thought Jasmine was running around. I don't know how that's school appropriate and allowed. And I'm sitting here like, how am I supposed to dance with my daughter for any of this? Then they had one like slow song, and then she was like, okay. And then she's like, I want to go home. I was like, I don't blame you. Well, I couldn't show up drunk though. So like the cha-cha dance was done. They played the cha-cha dance. All right. I'm not in a club. I don't understand what's going on here.
You figured you would have seen the electric slide, maybe.
Well, the thing being for me, my thought is if it's a song that I would be trying to put drinks down a girl's throat to try to get her to go home with me at the end of the night, it probably shouldn't be at a daddy-daughter dance.
No.
Agreed.
So, yeah. Needless to say, and then they're like, masks are required. Nobody's wearing masks. And I mean, the one guy literally looked and goes, so do we have to wear masks? As you're seeing all these people wondering, oh, yes, they're required. Mandatory, even. And I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't see masks. I see a few weirdos wearing it, but that's about it. I felt bad that, it's a father figure dance. And I see the one girl's mom is there. I see the one girl's obviously lesbian mom is there because she's more dressed up than I am. So, I felt bad that like they didn't get the experience, the daddy-daughter dance, because there was crap music and hula hoops for the kids to trip on. I'm not even joking. There was like 18 hula hoops in this fucking place, in the gym floor, just randomly all over the place.
Hopefully they didn't play that one that just popped up in the comments.
I can't read it.
Yeah, not even
God,
clicking on it.
I don't know. We left. There was still like 45 minutes left in the dance. We stayed for a good chunk of it, but we were in and out. They better not have. I don't know. This DJ belonged in a club.
Had to have.
It's a good thing your daughter wasn't there because you would be just as lost as I was. But so while we're on subjects here, I was going to wait till next week because I didn't expect anybody else to join in because people don't like to join our show. Russ here, apparently, from the rumors I've heard, wants to start Twitch streaming, I guess. I don't really understand what Twitch is. But
that's my retirement gig. I'm not going to do Twitch streaming now.
No, what you do, I've been telling the other Zach this for a while, like because he's got a PlayStation in his house. We have a PlayStation. Do what?
The kid does. Let's be
clear.
Yeah,
the kid gets grounded from it all the fucking time. All right, you just take the damn thing. That's easy. Solution. You don't even have to try hard. Do what?
See, when I was a kid, my mother tried to ground me from the N64 at the time. So she would try to just take the cables and hide them on me. Well, the thing is, I was smart enough and bought extra.
Yeah, it's kind of nice having it hooked up to the Wi-Fi and disabling the Wi-Fi on that device.
Well, see, my parents were really ingenious. They we had an NES.
I
That
still
was
have
it.
mine.
We had a Sega Genesis at one point, but my parents, by that I mean my adopted dad took the cords, right? This is where you're getting close, except he took the power cables and the cable cord. So the ones that plug in the wall and the cable into the back of the device and locked it into a freaking box.
That
Little
worked.
did they realize that the VCR not being locked into that box ran to the stereo system. Thus, I could listen to movies that I didn't. Because, pre-DVD, you don't have to worry about anything more than a play button. So I could listen to the entire thing. So you just put in movies like Star Wars. Or I don't need the visual. I can just listen to it and know what's going on. Yeah, that was about the only movie we could watch, too.
Yeah, she only had the Atari with one controller.
I like this.
I've only played
finally...
it once.
Do what?
I've only ever played the Atari once. That's how bad it was.
We didn't have a lot of those things growing up for me. My mom did a real good one. I wanted an Xbox for Christmas because everybody had them. And we're talking like the original Xbox, right? And so I get this, I get a box at Christmas time. And I open up the present, and it's the Xbox, right? The box is filled with books. She literally got an Xbox box from one of her friends to put the books in. Now, I wanted those books. That's besides the point. But literally, like, you open it, and it looks like a perfectly sealed Xbox.
Nice.
That was fucked up.
Nice.
Yeah, the worst Christmas gift I've gotten is a garbage can full of things that you need. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like the underwear, the socks. And so my mom just filled it up with a whole bunch of clothing items that you need or like new pillow or whatnot. And that's all you got with a lump of coal on top.
Coal's expensive. They splurged on you.
Yeah. Nowadays it's expensive, but back then it wasn't.
It was an investment. You just didn't understand at the time. You thought you were being punished.
I actually still have the coal here in the house somewhere.
There you go.
See, my mom, that was Animorphs books, right? Which don't really get published anymore. They're slowly doing a republish right now. I've got a tin off on the one shelf of them, right? There's several $100s to buy off people, like even beat up copies of these books, right? Other than the ones they're slowly reprinting. My mom, thus, a few years later, goes super Christian book burning. So all those books gone. My sister's Harry Potter set gone. Yeah, that was fun. It was voluntary. You wanted to do it. You volunteered. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Needless to say, those books were fairly expensive at the time, and now they're like priceless. But so be it. Animorphs was a good series. I don't know if either of you remember it.
Never read it.
No. I'm still reading the book set that you gave me.
No,
and I'm actually on like chapter 20 now.
I told you, once you get past 5,
it picked up.
Once you get past chapter 5, it picks up. The problem is the bad guy's fucked up. It gets worse by the end of the book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gets worse by the end of the book, too. Yeah. And the whole thing, you're going to be like, oh, damn, by the end of the book. It's good. It's good. Another good one was Ender's Game, which the movie, which I don't know if either of you saw, was actually fairly close to the book.
Yeah.
It's got Harrison Ford in it, so it's worth watching.
It was decent. I wish they would have had a sequel to it.
They were going to. It didn't make enough money in the box office because of the poor release. Because Orson Scott Card, the author, was not pro gay marriage because he's Mormon. He said something publicly, and it got taken against him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's going on there.
The cat was trying to climb down the kid. The kitten with the sharp little needle kitten claws is trying to climb down the kid like going down a ladder.
Wonderful.
And he's got his nails like the hook for whatever reason. So, yeah. Yeah, needless to say. I don't know. Other Zach, are you much of a reader?
Haven't been in a while, but I was actually into like some of the Frank Peretti novels for a while.
I don't know those books.
He's actually like a horror author, but he's a Christian guy that does it. And read his work. It's actually pretty neat. It's pretty cool how he blends different things in. Very unique writing style for sure, and definitely knows how to keep you interested.
That's interesting coming from you who doesn't go to church anymore.
Yeah.
I told you the solution to that.
We're good on that. We don't
Just
need to
go.
go into all that.
No, the solution is you just go. It's good for your kids. That's what the real push for us to have gone back to church was. I realized what was going on in the public schools. And I was like, ooh, fuck. I need some like morals where my kids understand murder might be bad. That was real. That was a lot of the push to like go back to church. Then there was some other more personal issues as well, but the big push on like actually discussing it with my wife that led up to, and then with personal issues that occurred later, that pushed the rest of the way there, was literally just looking and going, we can't send her to these public schools, not from the get go. And I mean, your daughter and son are in public school, so.
Yeah.
You know exactly where I'm coming from. And you went to private schools and homeschooling and everything else as well, correct?
Yeah, and I actually got in less fights in public school than private school.
Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, you went to a Protestant church.
Public school, so.
Do I?
All I ever went to was public school. So having the opportunity to send my daughter to private is actually kind of nice.
I did 2 years of private school actually at the same school our kid goes to, and obviously staying away from the concept of doxing. Yeah, I went there for first and second grade, and one, I got to learn cursive. That was neat. I can sign my own name. Who would have thought that was a thing? But yeah, I got bullied a lot too there though. And then I later find out half those kids weren't Catholic for anything anyways. And they got kicked out of the school like a few years later even. So the only reason I got pulled from it was, my biological father didn't like the principal and had an issue with the principal. So that was the only reason that we stopped going. But then I went to public school, and then a few years later transferred to another state, did 6 months in that other state, then came back down, and lost all my friends. It was the weirdest thing. I went from being like a fairly popular kid to just being an outcast, and then it just went from there. Then apparently liking Star Wars was not a popular thing either, apparently. I was a nerd.
How can you not like Star Wars?
Smart. Do I?
I mean, how can you not like Star Wars? I mean, we all grew up where TBS constantly ran the trilogy just about 3 times a year as a binge watch over the weekends.
Well, you have to remember this era. This was the era of the prequels. And I was a mouthy little dork who lived in a trailer court that wasn't allowed to, go socialize really. And it's the same town that you live in. They're really like where you live and your name, and like, you know, it's one of those schools that like to think that there's somebody more than what they are. Whereas like where the other Zach's kids go to school, that's much more of a are you good at sports? They don't give a fuck as long as you're good at the sports. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You can't say it's entirely that, because we're not even in any of the what you would consider the local sports stuff here. We go actually across town and everything. So
You know what I'm getting at, though. Like, that means something to people. It's about how much money you're willing to invest into sports, even if you can't afford it.
I wouldn't put it that way at all.
I don't know. Yeah, I met some of the people there. That lady
There's a
really
fair
nice.
amount of
She gave me the
people
check.
pushing their kids into like the travel leagues and stuff like that. But I mean, you can find that anywhere.
Don't have it here. Doesn't even exist here.
But like, I mean,
Other
not
than
everybody's
cheerleading
doing
side.
it, and definitely not the people that don't have money as well. You know, I mean, it's one of those things where it's crazy the amount of money that some people dump into these travel sports and stuff like that.
Look,
I
I'm
ain't
not
like that. That ain't gonna happen.
Look,
But,
that's
you
why
know,
my
like-
daughter's. That's why
Like
my
some of the
daughter's not
smaller
in the
sport stuff.
not in the cheerleading thing anymore, because that nationals competition thing. I'm not taking out a second mortgage on my fucking house to afford cheerleading. That's fucking asinine.
Oh, I mean, it's ridiculous how much, like, you know, there's one team here locally that they're doing all this crazy fundraising right now, and they got invited, or they won a spot in a competition that's going to be held at Disney. They're trying to raise like $9,000-$10,000 per kid. That's how much that stuff's cost.
No, that's Russ's walking around money. I mean, at least you know, he can afford that stuff. I mean,
Heck no.
look at the fancy like office looking corner he's in. Like, I've got like a painting because I'm on a couch. You're in your basement with your drain pipe behind you, and he's got this like fancy office corner going.
Nah,
Yeah, I'm
they-
bad in the dungeon.
I mean, he's obviously rolling in the money. Like, he's a college graduate. Like, I'm a dropout. You're not even dumb enough to have
I'm
gone.
still in debt. 10 years after graduating, I'm still in debt paying it back.
Wow.
I got him riled finally, though.
I'm glad I
Like,
quit the first
It's
semester.
not
then.
worth going to college nowadays. My recommendation: go to a trade school, go into something like that, because you will make money that is 2 to 3 times what the average person will make. So long as you go right as soon as you get out of high school into a trade school and go to do that job. Don't go to college unless you know exactly what you're going for and that you know exactly what type of job you want whenever you get out. And don't even expect to get that job. Just try to get a job in that field. That's a tough part.
Yeah, I mean, like college anymore these days, half the degrees, they don't really mean a thing, and they're not going to really truly help you out. I mean, everybody's got a business management degree. Everybody's got one of those nowadays. So what you got to do? Go over here to McDonald's, make 40, 50K a year at the most. Meanwhile, like, his internet crapped out. So, I mean, you're going to go to McDonald's, make 40, 50K a year, and you shelled out $75,000, $80,000 in student debt.
Yeah,
That's
and
your entire
actually,
life paying back that loan.
being a shift manager and that, you can make that 40 grand. You don't even have to have a formal education. So
No.
that's one of the great things about being like just a
No, but
shift
be one of
manager.
the people that handles the money every single day in there, like an assistant manager or the actual general manager, one of them. What, you're going to top out at 60, 70? Why are you going to go into that?
I couldn't even tell you, but a lot of people do because, you know, Well, I take that back. There are a few stores that if you are like a store manager or the assistant store manager, you'll probably make like close to 100 grand. But those are like stores that are in major metropolises, right off like an interstate or something, to where they're going to make bank.
Yeah,
And
but then
major
And
major
that's
sales bonuses.
yeah, but you got to
yeah,
look at the cost of living of that spot too, where they're making the equivalent of $50,000 to $60,000 anyways. Kind of like
yeah.
cost of living. Pennsylvania. How much do you pay for your truck to be registered?
Well, that's different because the trailer, which I don't have anymore, I was actually required to basically register my pickup truck as a commercial vehicle.
Right, but even besides, your truck still was expensive to register when you had it pre that trailer, correct?
Yeah, it was $250 on
Yeah, that's
before the trailer.
Asinine.
And yeah, I mean, Jersey Girl brings up a good point. Like, I mean, her kids are doing it. They're going to the VOTech here, which is like a technical high school. So it's kind of like trade school and high school mixed together.
Yeah, we've got
Man,
it.
if you guys got that somewhere near you, it's well worth looking into and taking advantage of.
We've got one, but the problem with ours is that's where you send the kid. Like it, you got to remember. Like I went to school in this area, right? That Russ is living in now. I went to school in this area, and I'm telling you that. One, it was Bush's "No Child Left Behind" policy, which probably didn't help because it was a horrible policy. Some kids just need left alone. All right. Some kids just need to fail and then pick themselves up afterwards once they turn 18 and go, yeah, GED, high school completion. Not, we're handing everyone a diploma. Nobody will graduate without a diploma. But the kids who they looked and said, you're definitely not going to college. Like, you're not smart enough for college. We'll send you to the vocational tech school, right? And then what they tried to do, because I wanted to go, my parents were like, no, because it was the same way when they were kids. Like the fuck ups went to, the trade school thing, right? And both my parents went. So take that for the grain of salt there, that they both were like, oh, hell no, you're not going there. I wanted to go for their law enforcement side. And then once I actually found out later, like as I got older, they got nothing out of that. Like maybe when they turn 21, they might get a foot in the door with a police force, but you still had to make it from 18 to 21 and still be able to like go. Where most people, it's like, well, I didn't go to college, so I got a job and now I have bills to pay. How can I afford to change my lifestyle to go to law enforcement training?
Well, I think one of the things is you got to pick a career path that you will know make money, and then there's also a viable path to get to it. So like a lot of us, I'm pretty sure that these technical schools, they have like welding. I was just talking with one of my fellow coworkers about welders and that, where they make 2 to 3 times what I make in a year just being a traveling welder. But mind you, they have to go and get the apprenticeship and that afterwards. Basically, that means like you get into a contract gig to where you work with a crew, and then you stick with that crew, and then you have to contract yourself later on with other contractors. And then by now, at that point, you have a repertoire around numerous companies, and then you're just traveling everywhere, and they're paying you bucks just to show up, do like 2 hours of work, and
honestly though, you don't even have to go to welding school. If you learn to weld on your own, I've found everybody who went for a welding job, they have to take a weld test. So if they walk up, you fill out say, I have welding experience, I can weld. They'll be like, take a test, and if you can weld, then you're game on. They want to see. They don't even give a fuck if you got a certificate. Yeah, that might help you get a foot in the door. Just go practice welding. It's expensive. Watch your electric bill because it gets pricey running a welder. But just practice welding. Like, honestly.
But that just gives you an example of, like, you have to pick something viable.
Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing. But I'm saying even with that.
Carpentry, electrical, automotive.
Mm-hmm.
With all
A
the
plumber.
automotive stuff nowadays, it's almost the same as a computer course.
Yeah, and you know, like I learned to drive truck because realistically, before I got my CDL, I was taking home less than $200 a week, working a full-time 40-hour job at a factory. My take home, because I had to pay child support, so you know I had the responsible thing. I didn't have it lowered based on me having this temporary, because it was supposed to be temporary at a lower paying job. But you can't afford to live off less than $200 a week. I said, screw this, and I don't need to get an apartment or anything if I go drive truck, because it's on the back of the truck. When I come home, I go visit my parents, and I'll be good till I build up some money. Then I met my wife, and then she decided that it would be smart to allow me to get her pregnant. In which case, then I bought a house, and then I got a house trailer, but then took a local job where I'm home every day, and went from there. So I mean,
and at the same time,
where I now make more money being home every day than I ever made over the road.
With these
which is a hard job
too, you got to go ahead and understand too. The first few years,
you don't make
you're
shit.
going to have to really be able to get looked at in the right type of way to get the really good job. You're going to have to do the crappy type stuff that nobody else wants to do.
You have to prove yourself.
With truck driving, you got go out there for 1 year at least over the road. Do it for 1 year, going anywhere, everywhere, whatnot. Hopefully you can get in with a company that's going to have you home like every 10 to 14 days.
Or in like 6 months, get into a job, because it's all about networking too. And that's a big thing.
Yeah.
You network with people in your area. Right now, everybody's hurting for drivers. You can find a job anywhere. And my biggest recommendation to people is if you can't afford the money, and without giving financial advice, YouTube freaking guideline thing, no financial advice given here. But what I refused to do was let a company sponsor my CDL, because then they own your school certificate, which insurance companies want to see for the first 5 years of driving. So you run into issues because that school or that company, and you have to pay that money back to that company if you don't work for them for minimum like 2 years, because it's like what, $5,000 or so for CDL school.
Oh, it's higher than that now. It's almost 10.
Yeah, I mean, but compared to Russ's student loans, it's nothing. So like literally go get the loan.
I still have $10,000 after 10 years of paying my school loans, and I have not missed a single payment. I've even been overpaying on this one. So I can tell you, college, yeah, it does have a benefit depending on what you go into. So long as you go for something like you're going to be an engineer and you know this, then yeah, go to college. If you know that you're going to be a mathematician or something like that, okay, go to that. But know your career path before you even step foot on a campus.
If you want to make films, but you're not willing to move to Hollywood, there is jobs for you, but don't open your mouth if your opinions don't align with whatever everybody else's does, because you'll never do more than a semester. And I'll say it was obviously most of the waste of my time. So I need to go get a drink. Other Zach, if you want to run through our whatchamacallit for a second, because we haven't hit that in like half an hour.
So don't be afraid to use the hashtag Don't Be a Nick. Follow us on Facebook. We have our official merchandise at cafepress.com/Jaggers Juxtaplooza. He's also on Instagram, where you can follow him at MPJags. But I mean, there's other ways to be able to get going in career paths and everything as well. I did it differently with getting into the truck driving. It's something that I was around my whole life because of family and all that. But I literally used the Army to get my CDL. So I had reclassed from being a combat engineer to being a motor transport operator. Was in that field for a while, operating heavy equipment and all, heavy trucks. And the state I was stationed in Kentucky, I literally got the exemption form, walked in, took the written test, paid the fee, walked out. Didn't have to do a driving test. Didn't have to do school, none of that stuff. Walked in, written test, walked out with my CDL. So, I mean, in that regard, you know, there are these other ways and other means to being able to do stuff to be able to set yourself up into a good career field.
Another example is my dad. He did the same exact thing that you did. He worked in the military, and then he drove truck for him, and then he got out, did CDL, and he's been driving truck, for different companies, but he's always had a job driving
Service
truck.
equals citizenship. Wait, no. Wait. That's Starship Troopers. My bad. Never mind. My bad. Nothing? No fucking laughs? Fuck all of you.
Hold on a second.
I didn't hear what you actually said.
I said service equals citizenship. And it's like, oh, wait, no, that's Starship Troopers. My bad.
No, this would be more like service equals CDL.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, so while he's off doing that, mind you, because apparently our wives are making cake roses or whatever. Roses for cakes? I don't know. I don't understand the baking thing. They're edible roses. You can eat actual roses, I'm sure, too, but I wouldn't recommend it. But they're saying they're doing that for your sake as you come over. One, plenty of stuff to discuss. We can go through what I've got D&D wise. I wouldn't mind doing a D&D thing, like this, as long as you trust people not to cheat on their dice rolls. Other Zach.
I've never even done that stuff before at all. So,
well, there's only one way for you to try. I got told to share a comment. I can't read them, so whatever it says.
What's the free steak?
Oh yeah, because I'm cooking steak as well. That's besides the point. But yeah, you don't come visit your friends. Fuck you, other Zach. Russ, on the other hand, I bribe my friends. But I found my decanter. My decanter is getting refilled right now with 90 proof whiskey. So you'll have to at least have one drink while you're over here.
What type of whiskey am I? What type of whiskey? You said 90 proof. That just means
the strength of how much it's going.
I know what it means.
Yeah,
I know what it means. It's in a decanter. That just means it makes it classy. Don't unclassy this.
Yeah. So what's the label?
What else do I drink?
No, I'm going to be honest with you. As someone who likes whiskey, my preferred whiskey is probably one of the cheapest ones, and it's Wild Turkey 101.
I was gonna say my wife's like, I swear to God, my wife over there on the backside, because she does our social media managing. She goes, I swear to God, if he says Canadian Club while you're saying that, I was like yeah, that is the cheapest whiskey you will find.
What my mom drank was Canadian Club. Hid it under the kitchen sink. Only got it out whenever someone was sick and they needed something. Yeah.
Other Zach, can you take a guess what I have a bottle of?
The Canadian Club, in order to go ahead and knock out.
Oh God, no. I won't punish somebody like that. I wouldn't even punish you like that.
Devil's Cut.
Yep, Jim Beam Devil's Cut.
Yukon Jack will knock anything out of you too.
What I miss a good Scotch whiskey, and that was Jameson 12-year, because they don't make 12-year anymore. It doesn't. It's done. I can't drink regular Jameson the same way.
Yeah, they had the same thing happen to Captain Morgan's aged rum and that. There used to be a 12-year statement on it, but that's gone away.
I can't drink Captain Morgan. I can't. My first experience with Captain. I was in the National Guard. I was underage, right? And it's somebody's birthday party, so we have to go. We're all going to the bar afterwards, right? And the lesbian couple. Then this is way before Don't Ask, Don't Tell, right? This is 2006, right? Way before Don't Ask, Don't Tell got repealed. The lesbian couple that were both part of our unit owned this club, and it was a lesbian club. And my team leader's like, "Hey, it's good for Jaggers drink, right?" They're like, No, it's like, come on, you do it anywhere else, but here because you own it, you're supposed to hook him up. They're like, no. So they ordered me the only pop they have on tap that day was Sprite, and it was the dark Captain Morgan freaking mixed into it. And since then, I cannot touch Captain Morgan. I will say that the more straight girls, the only straight girls, like the two that actually showed up, were all like, hey, Jaggers. And I'm like, hi. I'm, barely fucking 19 years old. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. And I was a dork. There's a reason my wife swiped left. Is it swipe left, swipe right? Ignored me, whatever the fuck it was, the first time. The first time she saw me on Plenty of Fish. The dogs are getting in trouble. The first time she ever saw me on that, I'm dorky looking, I guess. I don't know.
Still are.
Still better than you.
That's all right.
Hey, I've been the same person since high school, so yep.
Lucky you. Be all fucking. I got it. You're better than us. We got it. Okay. The rest of us had to suffer through 3 divorces.
Zach, you know what it is? You know what it is that kept him looking that way? No, it wasn't. Degree instead of grunt work. On the counter. Had to.
Lucky you. And this is literally because everybody I've talked to, they're all like, oh, bragging about the people they've been with. It's like, yeah, okay. Fuck you. And I've told many a young kid who's like new to the army or whatever, and it's like, I haven't been with anybody. It's like, good. Be with one person. Don't go struggle the way the rest of us had. I don't fucking shame somebody for that. But you want to rub our faces in the fact that we had to struggle to find the one for us. Thanks, asshole.
Just a little.
I'm sure it's been the perfect marriage, too, and you guys never even fight.
Oh, heck no. She's part Irish, and I'm part Russian and German. Yeah, we fight all the time. It's part of it for us.
So she's the one drinking and stumbling out the airport while you're the one taking and going, oh, this is vodka? Fuck you. My wife's like, they fight. You watched them fight, and I was like, I know, right? Like literally. And I talked to my wife about that the one day, and I'm literally like, I don't understand. It's like I would have done the same thing. She's like, are you fucking serious? And then it started a fight with us because I actually would have done the exact same thing that you did. I was like, I don't understand what the problem is, and she's just like, and it's like, oh my god, I didn't even do it. He did it. Stop yelling at me.
We fought over. That's how much
he picked up the older child, the 5-year-old, because I guess you can't call them toddlers once they're 5, I guess. Put her into the stroller and just started pushing it with the kid. Later, it was like a week later too with my wife, and it just it came up casual conversation. I was like, I don't get why she got so mad. It's not that big of a deal. Oh my god, she's like, those strollers are fucking expensive. I was like, lady, I didn't do it. He did it. I was like, I didn't do it. I would have, but I didn't.
I just didn't want to carry her the 50 feet or whatever to the car. I was like, okay, fine. I'll just put you in the stroller since I have to push that in. I'll just push you in the stroller that way. And yeah, my wife got mad at me because I put a 5-year-old on top of the car seat and everything.
Well, yeah, the baby carrier car seat snapped into the stroller.
Yeah, everything still is fine in that. It didn't break. It just became unsettled, but it worked.
Trust me. I got yelled at for it too, and I didn't even do it. I got yelled at because a week later, it's like, yeah, I would have done the same thing. And then it's like you know how fucking expensive those are? It's like, yeah, I bought the damn thing. I know exactly how expensive they are. Because UPS fucked up on delivering the shit to my house.
Yeah, but I mean, let's face it, okay? If we bought it, FedEx. Let's do maximum efficiency here. It's designed to push a kid in. Who cares how old they are? They fit, it ships.
I know. I'd stick your fat ass in
like
one.
the Postal Service. They fit, they ship.
Yeah, I'd stick your fat ass in one. It's fine.
Well, sorry guys, I gotta work again
We
tomorrow.
just started
So
the fight back up because his wife heard it in the background. Now he's fucked.
It's all
no,
good.
my phone just hit 5% battery life, and I got work tomorrow. So take care, guys.
Nice. Thanks for joining
take it
us.
easy.
You can follow Russ at nothing because he's not a regular on the show. He's just a casual joining host, whatever you want to call it, contributor. So, needless to say, the other Zach, though, you can follow him at
cafepress.com. Don't forget, has all our merchandise on it.
My wife said it's at nothing because he's lazy. But always make sure to use that hashtag down at the bottom. Don't be a Nick. You can follow us on Facebook at the Jaggers Juxtaplooza. You can follow me on Instagram at mpjags. And you can follow the other Zach's Cafe Press sales that he doesn't make it whatsoever and won't buy even himself because apparently our merchandise isn't good enough for him.
Oh, my God.
And he doesn't even wear the shirt that he got gifted.
It's upstairs right now.
I
just threw on clothes. Like, I didn't even pick my clothes here.
Well, no, that's besides the point. When was the last time you wore it?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I was waiting for you to be like, when was the last time you were here?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Something like that. Yeah, somewhere around there.
So we started up his fight again. That's awesome. That was very kind of us.
Oh,
my wife's over there like mean-eyeing me because I said, that I admitted a second time I would have done the same thing. And she's like, I'm going to murder you in your sleep if you ever break those strollers because they're expensive. Well, it's like, I know. That's why we held on to the one.
It's like the Postal Service. They fit, they ship.
Well, my thing is, like, we held on to ours because we're not insane, and we'd like to have another kid. And, yeah, I splurged on the Hello Kitty thing. I'll put a blanket in it if we end up having a boy because I'm not buying another one of those fuckers. They're expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I got the three-wheel. I got the three-wheeled off-road jogging stroller that you actually have to use an air pump to pump up the tires.
Yeah, that one's definitely more pricey than the one we've got.
Well, I will
admit, they come in handy. Like, you go to these little festivals or whatever.
When you got to go over their fucking tubes that they've got run across the thing, and you're
regardless of having a kid or not, that is going to be in the stroller. You take the damn stroller with you anyhow because it's a nice thing to throw your junk into that you wind up taking home,
like a fucking diaper bag.
Yeah, but I mean, you just throw the junk in there, like the stuff that you wind up purchasing or whatever, or gets purchased while you're there. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
He had the best reason to leave the show early. Way better than you've ever had for leaving the show early.
Oh shoot, I got to work tomorrow too.
Yeah, but we don't care. That's Army. That's not work. That's contract. You don't care. Let's be real. If you showed up late because you overslept, you don't care.
I was 10 minutes late this morning.
Did you care?
Hell, platoon sergeant was just pulled in there, and then as soon as I pull in, he's like, "Hey, can you get me in the building?" I'm like, "Yeah."
So, funny story. Seeing you can't chime in on this or not, but I think it sets a good precedent, even though it set a very bad precedent that Marine Colonel, who would come all fucking unglued on social media, cat's getting yelled at. The one of the cats. He just went running down the hall. Apparently, he needs to poop or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of like what that guy put on social media, though. A bunch of shit. Like, I got it that he was upset, but there's still certain things you can't do.
Hey, I'll tell you, I don't know.
If you're in the military, like, you can't express certain things, especially targeted things. You have watched this entire show because you're still serving as a reservist, not even active duty. As a reservist, you've watched certain topics that you're even willing to open your mouth on.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, for 52 more days.
Hold on, no. 52 more days plus 24 hours.
Not entirely true with the reserves. You don't have to worry about that extra 24.
No,
So,
that extra 24, they can still hit you with UCMJ actions.
no,
So
not on reserve side. So, anyhow,
they'll try and they'll win. You
Yeah.
always lose.
Good luck.
That's how it always works in the military. You always lose. Even if you win, you lost.
it especially applies, though, what you're talking about for those who are going into the IRR. I don't have any obligation for IRR anything. 52 more days, I am straight. No longer military title, no longer military uniform, no longer having to cut my hair, none of that horse shit. Yeah, I still have to keep my mouth shut on other things, but
that's only because YouTube says you have to.
Well, it's not even that, but
No,
anyhow.
I mean, okay, so like any non-disclosure agreements you signed or things like that, I got, but your opinions of issues are open and you're allowed to make them.
Oh yeah,
like you're not allowed to like obviously anything that you're read into, anything anybody is like you're still obligated to maintain the secrecy of certain.
Yeah.
I've got my one buddy. He had done special forces style work. I'm trying to watch how I word it because I don't want to. But anyways, like he'd done that. He literally can't even talk to his VA psychiatrist about issues that he has because he can't even admit certain things that occurred.
Yeah.
Can't even tell me what the hell the problem is because it's just like, dude, I'm having a real hard time. And what's going on? I can't talk about it. But it's really hard. Okay, well, I'll give you the help I can give you. But like they technically, they can't even go to like if they were Catholic, they couldn't go to confession about this stuff because of that's how tight knit that is. Now, at the same time, the confessional is supposed to be open. It's a weird freaking concept. But technically,
here's
law,
a military topic I can go into though.
Do what?
And here's a new military topic I can go into though. And I know I got to be careful just because of the YouTube things on this too.
Right.
But dealing with the vaccine.
Well, can I state my opinion? Can I state my opinion on this real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
On the military side and the vaccine, right? YouTube, obviously, everything's always, talk to your local doctor, blah, blah, blah. Talk to your doctor.
I'm not pushing one way or the other. I've got it.
But
you don't. Personal opinion on that.
And
personal, professional doctor.
I had to get the anthrax shot. I've gotten all these vaccines when I was in the Army because you sign the paper, and even in court, it has been held up that just because that you signed for it doesn't mean that you actually had a choice. Like that got held up in like what was it, the 90s or whatever?
Yeah.
When it had to do with the forced vaccines and the testing, and they're like, well, they get a choice, and they go, really, they don't. Like even the court system goes, no, they don't. Like no, they don't have a choice. They're supposed to do it. So they can look and say, hey, I was injured by this vaccine, blah blah blah. So my thing being, when you're in the military, that's kind of the option you have. You either sacrifice your career or you get
so it's not just sacrificing your career. That's what I'm getting into. Apparently, and I'll find out more, and I'll have more the next time we do a show because next weekend's up in the air, and the weekend after trick or treating, kids' birthday parties, and other stuff going on. But
next weekend we're not doing a show. I've already discussed that.
Yeah. But I mean, the trick or treat coming up too, and we might do something quick. We might do something quick on another night, something like that, maybe.
Like Friday.
We'll
do on Friday.
So anyhow, they're actually giving people a choice, which is surprising, being military. But if you make that choice not to, it's not just going to cost you your career. It costs you all your benefits, even your benefits after leaving service, and any bonuses that you receive, you have to pay back.
Well, yeah, you're ending your contract early. So it's whatever.
The bonus thing I can understand.
Right. It's whatever percentage you've given up, but you're not giving up your VA benefits. Don't. Let's not
entirely
go with
true, and I'll find out more on it here tomorrow. But they're doing it as a lesser general discharge.
Yeah, but you're still eligible for your disability.
Not a general that you can flip. Does that make sense?
No, I don't think that'll hold up in the long run.
Like I said, I'll find out more. I'm on it here.
Realistically, they're making this up as they go. The commander in chief made comment that he wanted to see dishonorable discharges, but correct me if I'm wrong, because I saw a lot of people making comment on this, and so I'm going to repeat what got said. So correct me if this is wrong, because this is not necessarily my personal opinion. That dishonorable discharges can only be given, the word dishonorable discharge can only be given through a court martial. Otherwise, it's a.
I know it's severe UCMJ at least.
Otherwise, it's court martial. No. Just in general, you have to court martial to get a dishonorable. Otherwise, it's a other than honorable general.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that.
I know, right? I couldn't answer to that one. I was hoping you could answer, because I was going to say.
I know it's got to be something severe with UCMJ, period. But how they're doing it.
Chief pushing. He wants to see anyone who refuses get a dishonorable, and I'm like, what'd your son get for doing coke? Coca-Cola.
Damn it, I can't say nothing.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I can't say nothing. Son of a bitch.
I was saying I've got Jim Beam Devil's Cut and Coca-Cola mixed in this.
So what they're doing is one notch above other than honorable. Because you got a shit ton of general discharges. Seems like you got a little bit of something going on with your sinuses there.
Coke.
You got a little something going on with your sinuses.
Gets you kicked out of the Army.
Or
Navy. And what kind of, if you're a senator's son, what kind of discharge do you actually get for doing drugs?
One that allows you to go to Ukraine.
Well, at least that family understands 18-wheelers. So, okay. Side note here. I haven't looked into it. The rumor I heard, and I only say rumor because I have not looked into it. But I'm trying to watch how I word this for very, very valid reason. Joe Biden had, in his early senator years or whatever, had tried suing a truck driver because the truck driver perhaps caused an accident, and it turned out though it wasn't necessarily the truck driver's fault. Caused an accident, which caused. I didn't know his current wife was not his first wife.
I brought that up to you a couple.
I didn't know she was the step. I didn't know she was the stepmother of his two children. I did not know that. So, if that being said, yeah, if I had as a truck driver, if something happened to my wife by a truck driver, I would probably honestly sue that truck driver because I've seen how truck drivers drive
nowadays.
Yeah. I want to see proof that they're not talking on their cell phone. Because you know how many truck drivers I pass with cell phone up the head, cruising down the road? It's asinine.
Not to mention how much the fine is to the driver and to the company as well.
Minimum $2,500.
And
minimum.
I think first offense to a company is $15,000.
I think it's double the original fine, but yeah.
But from what I understand now, it's like $10,000 that they're normally hitting you with first offense, even.
Oh, as a driver?
Yeah.
I think it's state to state. There's a minimum. I think the federal is the minimum, and then state to state determines whether it goes up.
But
Oh, wow.
with everything, with all the topics that we've hit on and everything, what the hell? Hold on one quick second.
I'm going to hold on one quick second. He's getting a phone call. And because he's getting a phone call, I'm going to tell you that I'm your host, Zach, of the Zac Yak Pack from the Jaggers Juxtaplooza. And don't forget to use that hashtag Don't Be a Nick that you see down below. Follow us on the Facebook at the Jaggers Juxtaplooza. You can follow me on Instagram at MPJags. You can follow the other Zach at...
Yeah. So, and don't forget, we have a whole bunch of merchandise, anything and everything you can think of at cafepress.com/Jaggers Juxtaplooza.
Anything and everything appropriate that you can think of. I don't kink shame viewers.
Okay.
But we don't have any of that.
So, but yeah, I mean, the reports are out there on that whole incident and everything. People can dig for themselves and see what really happened.
Like I said, I worded it the way I did. Rumor told me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's something that, you know, if you're more interested in that, Google it. You'll find the details yourselves.
Especially seeing with the 18-wheeler experience.
Yep.
He has as much time behind an 18-wheeler as he has visiting the Mexican border. The southern border. I should use better terms. Southern border.
But
these are comments you're allowed to make. But what the hindsight, what the U.S. Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel comments made, he knew he was going to get in trouble for it. There's no way he didn't know.
Yeah, and we hit on that one earlier there too, where, you know, he was a true dumbass. So
he's getting away with it
for now.
No. He literally, they've already had the court hearing. He's getting $5,000, 1 month's worth. It was going to be 2, but the time he spent in jail was viewed on it because to make up for the other $5,000 he's getting taken. They originally wanted $5,000 a month for 12 months, and then he's getting I think they said he's getting a letter of reprimand, and that's about it. So then he's resigning, so he's not going to get his retirement, which just means he's not doing the full 20 years. Let's be real. He didn't give up his retirement. He chose to get out prior to his 20 years. Let's be real here. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're just like you right now. You could retire if you were willing to do another minimum 4 years. Are you giving up your retirement? Are you losing your retirement because you're choosing to get out?
I am losing my retirement, but anyhow.
Are you choosing to not take and finish the requirement?
Well,
I know it's a semantics thing. But I'm making a point because they're publicizing this in a fucked up way. And I'm a conservative, and the conservative side is publicizing this in a fucked up way.
All of it is. There's no good way to look at it.
He's being denied his retirement. He's being denied all that money. That's why it's not a big deal. No, he's choosing to give it up. He chose it the second he fucking kept making public comments when he got told to stop. And there's no excuse for it because you do this web show, and you do no different than you do no different than Tim Kennedy does when he comes on other web shows, because I've watched it, and he does interviews and things like that. And Tim Kennedy is still a reservist special forces guy and MMA fighter. I think he retired from MMA finally, but he watches what he says too, because he's not a dumbass. Same with you. I think. Well, you're kind of a dumbass, but you pineapple-headed looking fuck, you know, it's still, you know where that line is and you refuse to cross it. Even though you know you were ending your career anyways. For the next, 2 months? You're still choosing to follow the rules because they are the rules.
As much as I can, yes.
So, you know, it's
I mean, you know, there'll be more into that where, like, you know, I turned in my gear today and everything, but yeah, I still got to follow the rules. I got to show up and all that stuff. You know, I'm glad to get my rest here and everything before I have to show up again tomorrow. So it sucks.
But my point being, exactly that. Are you going to show up on time tomorrow?
I'm going to try to. I'm going to
take 10 minutes. What the fuck ever. You're not going to just go, noon sounds good.
Yeah, because, I mean.
Because you made a commitment.
Why go ahead and put myself in that position? I mean, realistically, they don't have enough time to prosecute or push anything. But, you know, on that regard, on that particular circumstance with not showing up on time or not showing up at all.
Right. But
why am I going to screw up my record as it is now? Keep it good.
Yeah, because, I mean, say 5-10 years from now even, we end up in a massive war where the only way for you to protect your family is to end up going back in, right? Because literally the smart thing is, what's the safest place to live other than World War II Pearl Harbor is to live in a mainland base, and I'll drag my family to a mainland base if fucking crazy ass fucking nuclear war showed up. Be like, I served with honors, let me back in, and they'd be like, okay. But you go, I couldn't even hack it for the last fucking 2 months. Yeah, well, the nuclear bombs are going off over there. You can take your family over there if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The Russians are invading over there. Tandem Chading's over there, too, so you're good.
Oh, my.
So go
on that
there.
one.
That fucking movie, dude. Okay, I know you're trying to wrap up. You got some stuff to do, like sleep and things like that. I have to say, the most asinine part of that Tandem Chading movie, all right, was the fact of, so he's a Marine, and then when the Chinese are taking over, I got it, right? He takes in, the Marine Sergeant Major shows up, and he shows him no fucking respect whatsoever. He was still technically active duty behind enemy lines, right? So he should be like, awesome, Sergeant Major, here's what's up, here's the rundown, shows him no fucking common courtesy or respect. None. Assholic, piece of shit, garbage movie. The first one was better. Fuck that movie. 21 Jump Street was better.
Oh, my. Well, I haven't really seen either one of them, so I can't really comment. So
I need you to sit down.
Wow.
You haven't seen either Red Dawn movie?
Huh?
You haven't seen either Red Dawn movie?
No, I don't think I have, really.
The first movie is fucking amazing. It's fucking the Russians invade. You need to watch it. And then you need to watch the second one so that you can look and go, the fuck? Like, you had the perfect storyline pre-written for you. All you had to do is just alter it to be a different bad guy. That was it. No.
Anyhow.
That's your assignment for the rest of the year. Sometime by the end of the year, you need to watch both Red Dawn movies.
I will try to. I'll make an attempt. Y'all take it easy. You have a good rest of your weekend.
That's not how this works. Not how this works at all. What the fuck is wrong with you? He's completely avoided this entire time to take in. Always use that hashtag Don't Be a Nick. You can follow us on the Facebook at the Jaggers Juxtaplooza. You can follow me on the Instagram at MPJags. You can follow him at, he's going to say cafepress.com, the Jaggers Juxtaplooza, to be able to get your merchandise. But he's avoided the, hey, if you haven't yet, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. to be notified of when we're having other videos. Leave a comment down below. Hit that like button to help these algorithms if you like what we're doing. All right. Make sure to leave a comment because we have some comments. I've kind of addressed them more personally throughout the week because I did get some comments from somebody post the live show, and I dealt with that. Because I didn't leave the comments because I actually knew the person, so I talked to them specifically and was like, hey, this is what's up. There's other things I want to address the next time we have a show. I wish we were having one next week. There's certain things I wasn't expecting Russ to be able to show up where we could have the fun with that. There's certain aspects I want to address, which I wanted to do back when we had the Nick and Jack show still going, and we never got to it in an appropriate way. I think you'd be good on it, is addressing the concept of PTSD, acknowledging that it's a thing, and functioning with anxiety attacks. I'm not going to dime out the person I discussed with this, but having their first major anxiety attack in their entire fucking life and going, how do I handle this and what is wrong with me? And I want to address the concept that there's nothing wrong with you when you have these problems. It's literally the fact that your brain's not coping. I want to hit these points on another day, but I want to try to get someone a little more specialized in on the show with us to discuss these things as well.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So y'all take it easy. Like, subscribe, notification bell, share. Have a good weekend.
You won't. I mean, they will, but you won't.